I'll continue with the lecture two. Here is fostering resilience in private and land use. I think based on the previous exercise, we have learned several things, yeah, regarding the housings, this regarding the economic and regarding the ecological things and culture as well. So basically, we know that this lecture is focused on the resilience building strategy related to housing and economic activities. That we know that local governments actually are facing a lot of challenges and uh, and problems dealing with the private or land use that owned by the private sector as well. So when the local government prepare their strategy, resilience strategy, they need to have a better understanding and also better approach dealing with the private or with others non-government actors. And we know that the most of development in the cities occur within the realm of the private sectors. For instance, like in Asia Pacific, most of the urban areas are in the developing countries that uh, urban areas are developing so fast and with the it's different like from other region like in Europe or in America that has been there for several times several centuries, but here mostly the newly developed area are very rapid and very developing. So therefore the like for example in Bangladesh, in Indonesia, in those highly densely populated area in India, in the Philippines as well, there are some obstacles and challenges, especially dealing with the private sectors. And for here, like we know that the private investment is very crucial and it's very strategic to the build the resiliency, and also we know that local government can increase urban resiliency by following the same analysis, diagnosis, proposal process as other sectoral planning instruments. Uh, we know that the resilient building strategy is related to housing, yeah, and most of the local government have a planning authority and mechanism and instrument to sustainable manage existing and undeveloped private land use and activities through the urban planning, zoning, land subdivision ordinance, building codes, culture of compliance, prioritizing mix use and risk reduction plan in industrial and logistical area. For your information, that zoning is one of the most effective tools to regulate development in hard prone areas, hazard prone areas, and reduce people and property exposure to the hazard. For instance, when planning for areas with flood risk, zoning can require new buildings, ground floor to be built above the base flood elevation, or can prevent building on unstable slopes, for example. In some cases, development can be restricted as the area in the zone for public open green spaces. Moreover, the land subdivision ordinance can be used to regulate the use of the greenfield sites and propose the type and extent of the improvement required. Uh, Building codes, for example, are one of the most used instruments for development controls. We know that these are set of regulation governing design, construction, alteration, and maintenance of the structures as well. And we know that building codes are very important, like to identify those buildings that are vulnerable and prone to the hazard. We will not never say that this is a disaster. Yeah, it's kind of type of a hazard. For example, like a big city, we know that in others region, like in Mewa, in Istanbul, the building code has been one of the top priority of the city, and also in Tokyo, for example, in a big city like in Asia, but in other city that building codes are not put as the main priority as well. And well, this instrument help guide the resilient buildings. Regulation are not often robustly enforced or can be easily to bypass. And to overcome these challenges, local authority need to create a culture of compliance, where all stakeholders are knowledgeable about the risk, how such risks interact with the building location and construction practices, and are willing to comply with the building codes. For example, this is where all the ADB, uh, like IDB research in 2015. Furthermore, this is important also to develop the codes referring to local practice. And next slide, there is some practices uh, from New Jersey, USA. Uh, there was in 2012 there was a hurricane hit the city of Hoboken on northern part of New Jersey, flooding 80% of its land, and the hurricane damage resulted in an estimate property damage of more than 100 million US dollars, and a severe impact to the region transportation infrastructure. Following the hurricanes, the city received a community disaster block grant, disaster recovery funded by the Federal Housing Department. And the city used the fund to develop a resilient project in 2014, which consisted of the guideline of for the flood proofing buildings. So this is one of the New Jersey lesson learned from the previous hurricane. And here is also well the community disaster block grant allowed to create a guidance for flood providing proof, proof, proofing buildings. Yeah, the city is working to recognize its zoning code with state and federal regulation. So the coordination between the state and federals also was there, and they aim to allow for the wet flood proofing and dry flood proofing of ground level located below the base flood elevation. This is example from the New Jersey. Next slide, please. This is also the case from Tokyo, from Japan. We know that there was a big earthquake hit the eastern coast of Japan, named Great East Japan Earthquake in 2011. So the municipality of Tokyo established the comprehensive disaster management measures, and because of there was a challenge during the disaster, like having 3.5 million people stranded for hours, for some days, even days, like due to the traffic congestion, and there was some disruption, like mobile phone network, internet, and etc. Therefore, the municipality decided to mobilize all their resources by having cooperation with every stakeholders, including the private sectors, and to uh, to deal with those obstacles. This is the objective of the project, like prevent people from the heading home all at once, secure temporary shelters, enhance communication infrastructure and information services, aid people to return home. Because of the after the disaster, I think some people are like were like threatened to come back to their home, return to their home because of the facilities and this some of the uh, difficulties, and the implementation, there was like establishment of the board will develop efficient strategy to reduce the stranded people during the time of emergency, and municipality provided financial support, ensure legal guidance on disaster management. And private sector here plays a very crucial role. More than 50% of employees adapted their storage facility, and to include sufficient water and emergency flood supply. I think this lesson learned from Tokyo can also, point the importance of logistic